Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Hopefully, this is going to be a treat. This is Finchs Beer Company's Sobek and Set. And Sobek and Set, and what that is, let me give you the commercial description here. This beer is dark with mahogany burgundy highlights, achieved by using generous amounts of Breeze Midnight wheat, as well as earthy and citrus hops. It comes in at 8% ABV with 80 IBUs. It is named after the Egyptian gods representing a boar and a crocodile. And that's exactly what we have on the front of here, is a boar and a crocodile on the front of the can. So learn something new today. I guess Sobek is the boar and Set is the crocodile. I guess I'm just making a guess on that, guys. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not into the Egyptian gods or anything like that, but I have done a beer or two from Finchs. I think somebody sent me some. These guys are out of Chicago, Illinois, so not seen them here in Virginia. I picked this up in North Carolina, and it's very strange how it's in Chicago and they got to come through Virginia to get to North Carolina, but I'm not seeing them here in Virginia. So beer distribution is a wacky freaking thing, guys. It really is. They'll jump states and jump areas. I've heard some of my subs tell me that some of the beers that I can't get here are available in Northern Virginia, but they're just not available down here, and that is determined by the beer distributors here locally not wanting to carry those beers. That's the bottom line. It's available to them, they choose not to. So the craft beer consumers suffer for that. So they'd rather push Budweiser and Miller and Coors and all that rest of that nasty swilled shit water, as far as I'm concerned, rather than carry something brewed by some craft brewers. So that's just a crazy, wacky, screwed up world that we live in. That's all it is to it. All right, let's get on with this one. This is, like I said, an IPA, and I think it's a black IPA too. So it's going to pour a little darker than your typical IPAs. We've gone through the commercial description on this, and your typical food pairings go with your IPAs here. Even though it's a black IPA, which is not a recognized style yet, your food pairings are going to be pretty much the same. It may go with a little bit stronger dishes since they're using a darker malt. And according to them, it's a dark wheat malt to achieve this. So curried in Thai food, and these are suggestions, whatever you like to drink and eat together, by golly, do it. Don't let nobody tell you any different. If you want ice cream and IPAs that blows your hair back, do it. Cheese is peppery Monterey, pepper jack, sharp blue, cheddar, more pungent cheeses. And the meat for this is salmon, grilled meat, shellfish, poultry, and fish. The glassware is a nonic pint tumbler, your typical IPA glasses. I'm going to use my favorite Sovereign beer glass, and since it is an IPA, it's not recommended for extended cellarings. I picked up 3 different Finchs beers while I was down there, and this says Drink Finch. Then it has 00623. I don't have a clue what that is, guys. If that's the 62nd day of 2013, this is going to be a freaking malt bomb. So, not a big fan of the codes, Julian codes, or whatever codes they're using to do this. I'd much rather see a month, day, and a year on here than some kind of wacky code that you got to figure out, or go to their website or whatever, jump through some hoops, stand on your head and burp jelly beans. screw that. I mean, just put a month, day, and a year. It don't take any more time to do that than put this silly ass code on the can, guys. Just my opinion. Alright, let's pop the cap on this. Like I said, if it was the 62nd day of 2013, it's not going to be very good. But if that's some kind of wacky code, I don't understand what it means. Ooh, very carbonated. Look at that. We've already got a finger and a quarter, maybe a finger and a half of head already. This is a 16-ounce can. And it's very carbonated, looking at what I've poured in here already. We've got a good 2 fingers of head on that pour already. Over to the light. Through the bottom part of the glass, down here where it's skinnier, I am getting some red ruby tinges. Through the upper part, it is pitch black, guys. I mean, depending on how thick your glass is will determine whether you'll be able to see through it. And I can barely make out some red ruby tinges in the bottom of the glass. So, very typical of a black IPA. Usually they're not stout black. They do have some red ruby tinges around the outside, but through the thick part of the glass, I'm not getting that. Very creamy looking on top. There are some bigger bubbles around the sides of the glass. Let's get a nose on this one. I am getting a little bit of hops in there, though. A little bit of herbal floral hops going on there. And I am getting some of the dark malt that they've used in here. I'm impressed by how much hoppiness that I am getting, not knowing what that code means on the bottom of the can. 00623. Any of you guys know what that means? I didn't go to the website because I very rarely go to the website of the beer. Getting a little hints of some cocoa in there. Maybe a little bit of coffee. But it has a really nice hop presence. It's not a West Coast style to me. But it is there. I mean, it's got a definite hop presence to this black IPA. Well, let's give it a taste and see what we got. As you see, it's down to about a finger of head already. Leaving a nice lacing around where the foam was in there. Cheers, everybody. More herbal and floral hops than any kind of piney, grapefruity, or any that kind of hops. So I'm not really sure what hop they use, because it doesn't say here, or how old the beer is, because I don't know what that damn code means they've got stamped on the bottom of it. But in the time it takes to type in the bottom of it, drink Finchs, and put some silly ass code, they could just put enjoy, drink by, canned on, month, day, and a year, and be done with it instead of having some code. I'm not a big fan of that, guys. I think the guys that watch me know that. Much rather see them write canned on, month, day, and a year. And that tells the consumer, as soon as you pick that can up, because this was sold in singles. I bought one of these. You look at the bottom of it and you know how fresh it is. If you buy this can and it's got 00623, and you buy it and you drink it and you don't like it because it's an old beer, you think you're going to buy it again? Probably not. So these guys, these beer companies, these craft brewers that do this silly ass shit with these codes lose a buyer that's not going to buy their beer again. I don't understand that. They spend all this time and money developing the recipes and distribution, and then they do something silly like put a silly ass code on the bottom of the can. I'm getting caramel, a little bit of toffee, a hint of some black malt in there. It's got a nice mouthfeel. Very decent beer. Very decent beer. For me, definitely not the West Coast style, but it is a tasty beer. It's got a real nice creamy mouthfeel. Yeah, I enjoyed this. It's 40 degrees right out of the fridge. It's a 16-ounce can. I'm going to let the other half taste it, see what she thinks of it. Might even fire up or hit a cigar a little bit while I'm finishing this, and we'll come back and do the final chug and grade on this. Seems like a decent beer. It's just disappointing that they choose to put these silly codes on the bottom instead of a month, day, and a year. I don't understand these guys. What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? Alright guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna do the final chug and grade. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Been sipping on it for, I don't know, probably about 25-30 minutes. I went to their website, which I normally do not do. It tells you absolutely nothing about what the code on the bottom means. The only thing it says here, it's available January to March. And reading that and seeing that 00623 on the bottom, I would think this was the 62nd day of 2013 beer. So that means this beer is well over a year old. Even though it is an 8% beer, which is going to keep, the hops have faded tremendously if this is a 2013 beer. Especially a 62nd day of 2013. This is well over its shelf life. So maybe it's a good thing that I can't get these in Virginia, because if I picked this up on the shelf and looked at the bottom of it and seen that silly ass code on the bottom of it, not knowing what that code means, like I said, I'm just guessing that 00623 is some kind of Julian code. That is the 62nd day of 2013. You know what I would do with that can? I would set it right back up on the shelf. But not having this particular beer before and picking it up at the beer store down in North Carolina, I was hoping that it was a fresh version of this. I'm not really sure, guys. Their website does not tell you what their codes mean. Not a big fan of that, so it's probably going to cost them a grade point. So for a Julian code, and especially if it's 2013. If it is a 2013 beer, it is held up well, but the hops have faded so much. If it's a 2013, 62nd day, that's the first week of March probably. In that length of time, I'm surprised that they have held up as well as they have. But just imagine what this would probably taste like if it was fresh. It may be a 9 or even a 10 beer if it was fresh. But not real sure, guys. Not real sure at all. So, with that being said, let's do the final chug on this one. It's held up surprisingly well if this is a March 2013 beer and we're in May of 2015. 2 years old. So that can't be right. This beer would not taste this good if it was a 2013 beer. So I have no idea what that code means, guys. No idea whatsoever. Surely this beer is not 2+ years old. This would be such a malt bomb, and I feel pretty sure that the store where I bought this would not have this on the shelf if it was over 2 years old. So I have not a clue what that code means on the bottom of the can. So you guys out there that are familiar with Finchs Beer Company, what does that code mean? What does the 00623 mean? If it's the 62nd day of 2013, wow. The beer is held up surprisingly well for a beer that's well over 2 years old. So I don't really think that's the case. I'd be very damn surprised if that was the case of on this beer, if it's over 2 years old, especially coming in from the store that I bought it from. But anyway, let's get on with this one. As far as I'm concerned, guys, I'm gonna give this beer a 6 in the scale. This will be a B beer as far as I'm concerned. If I knew what the code meant on the bottom of the can, it may get a B+. I don't think it's quite to the A category. There are a lot of people from the reviews that I've read that do think this beer is an A beer. I find it very tasty, but I'm very confused about what the code means on the bottom. And that has a big influence on how I grade a beer. of being able to tell how old the beer is and what the brewer is intending you to have. So I'm just completely blown away by people like Finchs that want to put some silly ass code on the bottom of their can that you can't determine what it is, and when you go to their website it doesn't give any explanation other than a seasonal beer brewed between January and March. I would hope this was brewed between January and March of 2015, but that code, if it had a 5 on the back of it, it was 00625, I could understand what that code means, the 62nd day of 2015, but it does not. So we're going to leave it down. I'm not going to harp on this for 20 minutes about the code on the beer. This could possibly be an A beer if we could determine how old the beer is. The taste of the beer leads me to think it's a lot fresher than that code leads me to believe on the bottom of the can. So I'm going to give it a 6, which is a B. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 85. That's about where I would put it. I would probably give it an 85. That's about where I would put this beer. But over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 97 overall and 91 in style. So great numbers from those guys over there. Both of those are definitely in the A category. I just wish I knew how old the beer was without having to jump through hoops or stand on my head to figure out what the fuck they're trying to tell us. So with that being said, a 6 for me, guys. Until they can step up to the plate. And instead of writing drink Finchs and put some silly code on it and just put canned on this date, that's what they're going to get. So that's what I'm going to give it. If you've had it, let me know what you think. If you know what that code means, give me a hint in the comments about what that silly ass code means, guys. So usually Julian Codes has the year somewhere in that numeric assortment of numbers, and this one does not to me. So if it's a 2013 beer, it held up well, and if it's a 2015 beer, I don't understand what the fuck you're trying to tell me with that code. So, alright guys, that's enough about this one. We got 2 more Finchs beers in there. I'm going to probably get to them pretty quick and get them the hell out of the fridge because I don't understand what they're trying to tell me with them damn codes they got going on. So let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.